Heading into round 1 of the OTC battle between the state series from Earlywine's indoor motocross, Team Kentucky's indoor specialist Rob Ray was injured during a preseason crash, putting him out for the first 2 rounds of the season. With Ray sidelined, the A-Class competitors knew that someone new would stand atop the podium in Earlywine, and for that reason, round 1 was a round full of thrills, spills, and drama. In the end, 2012 CRA champion and Team Pennsylvania racer Sam Harkibusick would win both motos, before accidentally heading out for his victory lap. Running 2 rounds in one day, the dust has barely settled from round 1 as the A-Class finds itself once again on the line for the start of Moto 1 of round 2. As Shannon Roberts pulls in on the left side of the starting gate, we have to wonder if his big jumping antics will be enough to help him pull off the win in round 2, or will the consistency of Sam Harkibusick be enough to take him to the checkered flag once again. Of course, we can't count out Team Ohio's Mark DeSalle, who's always a strong starter, or Jim Nemechek from Indiana, who looked really strong in round 1. Now let's go on board with Sam Harkibusick, and it's Harkibusick with the big wheelie out of the gate as DeSalle streaks to the front of the pack, grabbing the whole shot for Moto 1. Exiting turn 2, it's DeSalle and Harkibusick running 1-2, with Shad Spencer getting a good start in third, followed by Nemechek, Roberts, and Stefanko Sr. Here's Shad Spencer opting for the more difficult inside line in the side-by-side whoop section where he went down hard in round 1, then bust in that step over, showing the power of his Honda-powered TPC 450. Back on board with Sam Harkibusick, we get a good look at the back of leader Mark DeSalle's machine, who's running a crazy set of 3-wheeler racing tires from about 27 years ago. Most modern 4-wheel ATV tires try to develop a lot of traction in the corners, especially with today's 4-strokes. But the tires that DeSalle are running have basically horizontal ribs that provide good forward traction but very little side bite, allowing the 3-wheeler to slide through the turns, yet get drive going down the straights. As DeSalle and Harkibusick race over the first tabletop heading into the whoops, Roberts jumped both doubles heading toward the finish line and was unable to hit the brakes in time, taking out himself and a couple other riders. And it looks like Shad Spencer was one of the riders involved in the crash. The last time him and Roberts got together in the first round, it was Roberts being run off the track. Looks like it was Spencer's turn this time. Back up front, Mark DeSalle is being pressured by Sam Harkibusick, now on their 3rd race of the day and first moto of round 2. Harkibusick never seems to fade late in the moto, and there's a long way to go for DeSalle to hold him off to the checkered flag. Here's Shad Spencer up and going once again, as both he and Jim Nemechek try to reel back in Tim Stefanko Sr. Racing into the corner before the pit jump, check out leader Mark DeSalle squaring it off on his Honda. Those vintage tires really seem to be working for him as he's able to break it loose and square off every corner, even on this extremely tacky Earlywine track. While DeSalle seems to have it working in the corners, Harkibusick seems to have it working everywhere else. Just like his battle with Rob Ray back at Smith Road, Harkibusick seems to make up his ground on the competition by holding the gas on longer than anyone. Coming over the big double, it's Harkibusick on the outside, riding the cushion, trying to get a drive on DeSalle over the big tabletop into the pit, where we've seen him make a pass in the first round. But DeSalle gets out of the corner faster and manages to squeeze Harkibusick off again. Indiana's Jim Nemechek has worked his way around Tim Stefanko Sr., now running in 3rd, with Shad Spencer running in 5th. Number 90, Tim Stefanko Sr., leader of the Ohio Trike Crew, the group that puts on the battle between the state series, is one of the people responsible for the resurgence of vintage 3-wheeler racing. We did a nice interview with him from round 1 of the series last year, and if you haven't seen it, you may want to go back and check it out. Meanwhile, on the 180-degree turn heading into the pit jump, it's Harkibusick who rails the cushion again, this time putting the pass on Mark DeSalle, taking over first place. While most competitors fade throughout the moto, Harkibusic seems to stay consistent if not get faster. We'll have to see if DeSalle can stay in touch. Right now, the fastest man on the track appears to be Shad Spencer. As Harkibusic grabs the checkered flag, it's Spencer who's worked his way around Tim Stefanko Sr. and is going to do battle with Jim Nemechek right down to the wire for third. With the last racer across the line, it's Sam Harkibusic followed by Mark DeSalle, Jim Nemechek, Shad Spencer, Tim Stefanko Sr., and Shannon Roberts. As we learned last year, there are many reasons why these competitors enjoy racing their three-wheelers. For some, it's fun and affordable. The racers tend to give each other a little more respect and room out on the track, and for some, it's a chance to relive days gone by. At three-wheeler events, you can find competitors racing machines up to 33 years old. While some racers like to race the vintage machines, others, like Shad Spencer, like to race modern four-wheeler conversions, like his TPC 450. Between motos, we had Shad Spencer and Rob Ray give us a look at the difference between a fully built vintage and modern hybrid three-wheeler.
Here's an example of the vintage bike. This is the 86 250R. It was built to be the equivalent of the pro bike that they ran back in the day, with a few modernized tips and tricks. You can build this bike for roughly $7,500, and it is still vintage legal. This has a full CT National motor. Racetech's gone through and done a modernized touch to the suspension. You got the Lone Star axle and swing arm. And look at these wheels. It's got these wheels.
This is Shad Spencer with the modern hybrid TPC. It's basically the best you can get as a new modern technology on a three-wheeler. It's got the CRF 450R front forks and a TRX motor off the four-wheeler. Back half is all TRX parts. Frame is custom built from TPC in New York. The graphics are from FTR. I built this TPC here because I wanted a more modern technology. Easy, smoother power than the old two-strokes. If you had to build this thing from the ground up with no parts and started from scratch, you'd probably have about $15,000 into it. I had spare race quads laying around and most of the parts laying, so I don't have that much into it.
Thanks, Shad. Now let's go down trackside with Rob Ray.
We're here with Sam Harkibusic. Took both wins for the first round, took a win for the second round. You had a pretty good battle. Give us a recap.
As always, trying to go for a good hole shot, which is pretty much in Mark's court. So I battled it out with Mark for a little while. I just could not seem to get that perfect distance to work out of his line. And so I continued to follow him close, and I found two spots I could maybe go. I got to them positions. I went to go one, it wasn't going to go, so I tried second time. And luckily, within, the last quarter of the lap, I was able to get a pass by the skin of my teeth. And like I always say, hang on tight and respect the bike.
Well, good luck on the second.
Thank you.
We're here with Mark DeSalle, round 2, second place winner. Mark, you had a pretty good battle going out there. Tell us about it.
It was epic. Sam was running side by side, had the wheel out in front of me a bunch of times, and yeah, I held the inside line as best I could, and better man won, and he just flat out beat me out, and had a great time. I knew a lot of other people had some, technical difficulties out there, and otherwise I probably would have been farther back in the pack.
All right, so you got to tell us what's your secret for the next race. What are you going to do on him?
Smile, hoot and holler at everybody I go by or passes me, and if it gets really bad, I'll flash you.
All right, man, good luck.
Thank you.
With Moto 1 in the books, it's time to head back down to the starting line as the A-Class competitors line up for Moto 2. The gate's down, and they're off for the start of Moto 2. Racing into the first turn, it's Mark DeSalle with half a wheel lead over TPC-mounted Shad Spencer, with Sam Harkibusic running in third. Exiting turn 2, Shad Spencer's wasting little time going after DeSalle, although Harkibusic's now side by side and may have second place on Spencer. Entering the side-by-side whoop section on lap 1, it's Spencer slamming the door on Harkibusic, getting in line behind DeSalle. as Harkabusic's followed by Nemechek, Roberts, and Stefanko. Here comes Harkabusic looking to the inside on Spencer. Oh, but he makes contact with Spencer and with one of the track marker barrels. It looks like, oh, Harkabusic looked like he was free, but then he runs over the back of one of Shannon Roberts' wheels. Harkabusic recovered well, though, and is back on track. Let's go back and take a look. Here's Harkabusic getting away from the barrel and appears to be out running clear, but he clips the back left wheel of Shannon Roberts' 250R and runs off the side of the tabletop into the pit. A good save by Harkabusic. After 3 moto wins so far this weekend, this isn't where Harkabusic wanted to find himself in the second moto of round 2. And with Shannon Roberts busting those doubles on the wall, Harkabusic's got his work cut out for him if he wants to reel him in. Back up front, number 27 Shad Spencer is pressuring Mark DeSalle for the lead, as Spencer puts on his best ride so far this weekend. Here comes Spencer looking to the inside on the cell, but Spencer switches his line to the outside, apparently trying to fake the leader out as they drag race through the rhythm section. Racing through the rhythm section on the wall again, Harkabusic's reeled in Roberts, but Roberts is once again busting the big doubles, putting some distance between himself and the 5th place competitor. But now Roberts has managed to work his way onto the tail of Nemechek and may allow Harkabusic to close in. Oh yeah, Roberts catching Nemechek has allowed Harkabusic to once again make up the distance, as Harkabusic looks to the inside, stealing 4th place away from Roberts. Back up front, Shad Spencer has just stolen the lead away from Mark DeSalle, taking control of the race for the first time this weekend. It looks like the self-proclaimed new fast guy is ready to live up to his name. While Harkabusic was challenging Roberts, here's where Spencer jumped up alongside DeSalle, grabbing the inside line for the next corner and taking the lead away. That late moto, late day stamina of Sam Harkabusic is really coming in handy as he's charging hard, pressuring Jim Nemechek for 3rd. Since these two hooked up, they've already begun to separate themselves a little bit from Shannon Roberts running in 5th. As they come over the big double, watch this corner before they hit the jump into the pit. This is where Harkabusic's made a move on a lot of his competitors this weekend. Harkabusic gets the good drive on the outside and is looking to the inside on Nemechek. And Harkabusic squeezes out Nemechek, taking over 3rd place as they enter the start straight. Sam Harkabusic, number 7, winner of round 1, is riding like a man possessed, but he has a lot of ground to make up on 2nd place Mark DeSalle as he approaches the white flag. And here comes Shannon Roberts making a big move on the inside of Jim Nemechek, stealing 4th place away. Once Roberts gets a little bit more ground speed and he learns how to pick his way through traffic a little more cautiously, you're going to see that guy take that jumping prowess all the way to the front of the pack. We've now been on board with Harkabusic for a little more than half of this last lap, and he's really making up some ground on 2nd place Mark DeSalle. Out front though, it's Shad Spencer with just a couple doubles between him and his first checkered flag of the weekend, overcoming adversity to grab a moto win in the first 2 rounds of the battle between the state series. It looks like DeSalle's going to hang on to 2nd, while Harkabusic put on the hardest charge of the weekend. In Moto 2, it's Shad Spencer followed by Mark DeSalle, Sam Harkabusic, Shannon Roberts, Jim Nemechek, and Tim Stefanko Sr. In the overall for round 2, it's Mark DeSalle taking home the win, followed by Sam Harkabusic, Shad Spencer, Jim Nemechek, Shannon Roberts, and Tim Stefanko Sr.
We got Sam Harkabusic. He got the 2nd overall, got 3rd in the 2nd moto. Tell us what happened out there, Sam.
Well, I was trying to stay the course and hang on tight, and I found myself in a tight spot and ended up riding the cone like a merry-go-round, and then rode up a guy's tire, and it kind of set me back a little bit, which added more to the excitement. So I tried to maybe move up another position or so, and where that happened I'm not sure heat of the moment, but I ended up working up one more position and ended up taking 2nd. So hang on tight.
So what's your plans for the rest of the season?
Try to stay the course.
Here's Mark DeSalle, got 2nd in the 2nd moto, but he got 1st overall. Tell us what happened out there.
I really got lucky again. I mean, I'm sorry I keep hole shotting, but It's fun out there, and I can't thank enough people for coming out. And, you know, a couple people didn't make it, and I know where I would have really been in the race. I mean, I wish to God you could have been out there. I hope you heal up quick. I love your guys' bikes, and I can't thank Earlywines enough for having us and treating us so great. If you come into Kentucky, hit Earlywines, for sure.
So what's your plan here for the rest of the season?
Keep having fun, and keep meeting new people, and stay healthy. And I just really enjoy everybody. I can't thank you all for coming out.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.
We'd like to thank Earlywine Indoor Motocross for hosting round 1 and 2 of the 2013 OTC Battle Between the States Series. We'd like to invite you to dust off or restore that old three-wheeler and come racing with us. For more information on three-wheeler racing, log on to otc.myfastforum.org.